Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day. Today, we're starting out here by our little bookshelf farm, and you might notice that it is no longer running books through the system. There is one bookshelf left here because it got 0 ticked off the end here. Let me just take that out quickly. As you can see, this is now a concrete farm, because yes, I mentioned it in yesterday's episode, but some people in the comments also picked up on this. This is actually a design that you can use to convert concrete powder with the simple addition of a water stream placed a couple of blocks away from here and going down into a hole so it doesn't affect the redstone torch here. Otherwise it's going to wash the redstone torch away if you place it closer, but if you place it back here, dig a little bit of a hole so the water can flow down into there. Any concrete powder you place here will get converted, will get 0 ticked around the machine, and then it will be able to harvest concrete for you. So this is quite a diverse design. We can use one for a small-scale cobblestone farm as well, but I've been using it to convert a little bit of white concrete. And at some point, we will have to come back over here and rejig some of the concrete maker in the Alchemist's Guild so that it actually uses the same 0-ticking piston technology. But for now, I'm going to drop all of the concrete in that chest there. We can come back to that at a later date, probably when we go and do a little bit more work on the ski village, which I kind of want to make my winter project. I've been doing a lot of building over at Founders Forge. I've been having a lot of fun with that, but I feel like the ski village is probably going to be a prolonged project over winter. So maybe starting December, we will head over there and we'll set up a few things over there. We won't take the focus away from farms and stuff though, because we'll need to build a bunch of stuff over there to make sure that we can live a sustainable life. We'll need some crop farms, we'll need some storage rooms, that kind of thing. We will definitely try our best to spend a bit of time over there over winter though. It seems like a good project for this frosty time of year. By the way, if you want to turn this into a cobblestone farm, which I just tried out and was pretty successful, all you need to do is keep this water stream set up here and then build a little square up here that you can place a bucket of lava in the center. You might think the lava is going to fall down there and mess with the redstone torch, but no, it's not going to, because anytime the water and the lava make contact there, the lava is not going to be faster than the water, and it's going to make a piece of cobblestone, and that should just 0-tick its way around this circuit nice and easily. This is definitely not the fastest cobblestone farm in the world. It just relies on a single water source and a single lava source meeting, where of course you could do this a lot faster with multiples of the same, but I think it's going to be a decent alternative if you want to slowly and automatically produce cobblestone in the background. All we would need to do would be to turn on the TNT duplicator, watch the TNT fall, and destroy all of that cobblestone. And for the record, yes, I have gone through and replaced the blocks underneath all of the comparators with obsidian, because I had a feeling that the comparators themselves would not be destroyed. It was the glass underneath breaking that was the problem with the farm yesterday, and that so far seems to have been the case. So I guess now we have ourselves a very slow cobblestone farm. We could adjust the timing on the hopper clock though, so that the TNT only explodes when there's a ton of cobblestone in here. Or we could just make the cobblestone farm itself faster by feeding it in from 4 sides instead of just this one stream coming in over here. You get the idea though. It is quite a diverse system that we've got set up here. It's pretty much useful for farming anything that you want to just blow up with TNT to gather it down there. And I should probably come down here and pick up the remaining drops which have been left over as the TNT explodes. There a little bit more in here? Yes, there is. Okay, that's the rest of the concrete. Very good. But for today, I am done messing with that farm, and instead we are going to turn back to something that we covered a few episodes ago, wither roses. As you'll see, despite the fact that we've created one platform of our wither skeleton farm, and that's kind of on hold while I destroy a bunch more of the nether fortress, we do have a whole bunch here of wither roses left over, and to that end, we are going to be using these to upgrade a farm that I haven't touched for a while because I just wasn't quite happy with how well it performed. And that, my friends, is the creeper farm over here, because as you can see, despite the fact that we have cats on those platforms, the creepers are not walking off the edges, and that may be because I replaced those with buttons during a time when creepers could be persuaded to walk off on top of buttons, and now I'm pretty sure they will only really walk off consistently with trapdoors, but even then, the behavior wasn't quite consistent. The top platform here, which is why it has that ring around it there, gave us a little bit of trouble, and they just wouldn't walk off of the trapdoors over there, no matter how we ended up dressing the place up. I think it was something to do with the fact that we had a roof above their heads here, and they were trying to pathfind onto blocks above them, which meant that they couldn't quite walk all the way off the edges here. But now we have an alternative. We have the Wither Rose, which cannot be planted on mycelium, by the way, but it can be planted on various other surfaces, including dirt. And if we replace the innards of this farm with dirt covered in Wither Roses and set up a minecart hopper collection system, it doesn't matter whether or not the creepers will be able to walk off these platforms, because we're going to be able to kill them automatically by a very different system. So much as I like this octagonal design, I think we are probably going to tear it down and replace it with something a little bit more practical for our purposes here, and I feel like the best way to do that would be in the form of a time lapse. So while it may not look like the most glamorous thing in the world, this is a much more effective creeper farm than we had before. And it is currently all the way down there. I'm up here at the top of the world in a kind of AFK spot. I'm actually not at the top of the world. I'm probably around Y160-ish. And down here at the bottom here, the farm is only a single cell right now with a hopper minecart rolling around underneath here, collecting up all the drops. But occasionally you will start to see some stuff spawning down here, at least if I can get my spectator account to slow down a little bit. There we go. This is this is quite the farm right now. And yes, we are getting some spiders in here right now because I didn't really want to mess around with carpets in here. I elected to cover the entire floor of the farm in Wither Roses just to get the maximum areas of coverage for the creepers, and Yeah, so we are going to be getting some string out of this farm as well, but as far as I can tell, that is not much of a downside. It's actually going to be kind of nice to have an additional source of string as well, and it means that the creeper spawns are slightly reduced, but ultimately we're going to be still getting a lot of gunpowder out of this very, very easily. It doesn't rely on the creepers walking off a platform. They die relatively quickly, so they don't have to travel around in water streams to get killed. Ultimately, this is going to be a much faster farm, and as a result, I feel like we're going to be getting more gunpowder out of it, even though the spiders are kind of interfering here and there. And if we wanted to, we could, of course, lay down a little bit of carpet inside to make sure that it was just creepers spawning in here, but the string is actually going to be kind of useful. I'm not all that worried about that. One thing I do need to worry about is the collection mechanism, because all I did was place 3 hoppers in the center here so that it could connect to the previous delivery mechanism, but unfortunately, whilst I was adding the pillars to surround the outside of this, it washed away some of the redstone. The water streams diverted and we lost the dropper clock that was in here, and by the time I realized that had happened, it was a little bit too late and all of the items in there had despawned. So I am going to have to go and grab my redstone box and recover that, but after that I'm going to build a second layer to this farm just to increase the output a little bit. I'll probably have to AFK a few blocks higher, but ultimately that's going to be fine. I think it's going to be nice to have a little bit more spawnable space inside this farm, because the platform inside of here is only really a 9x9, I think. It's not all that large at all. It does the job, though, because as you can see, we've been getting a fair amount of creepers and spiders coming through here, and if we come down to take a look at the contents of this dropper right now, that is loaded up, and I'm not quite sure why there are skeleton drops in there, but it's definitely getting there. I've been AFK for about a minute and a half at this point, and we've already got half a stack of gunpowder, plus whatever's coming in from these guys. I think that's a win. So after a quick trip home to get a few more supplies, replenish the fireworks, and bring the redstone box over, it's ready to start platform number 2. And this, I think, we are going to leave a gap in between because we can put a string of hoppers that's going to connect to the hoppers down here. And I guess we'll probably have to do that underneath here because of the way I've had to place the the levers underneath here that are powering the rails. Had to make sure that there wasn't a redstone power source right next to these hoppers, which of course I could replace with a redstone block if I wanted to, but the levers are good enough. They're nice and cheap. They'll do. So we'll get to the outside of here. We'll string these hoppers up here like so, and then of course that's going to connect to maybe a couple of hoppers here facing into this one like that. It really doesn't matter where exactly the hoppers are in the chain of rails, but it's just going to make a little bit more sense to have it near the outside here so that they can be fed down easily into the other section. And of course there are other ways you could do this. You could very easily remove some of these hoppers in favor of something else. Even a dropper clock spitting them out into the water stream could carry them back into those hoppers further down, but I think just making sure there's a nice hopper chain there will do the job. Over in this box here we've got another hopper minecart and a couple of extra hoppers which I will take out so that I can add one more to this just so we can collect this stuff up nice and easily. One there. Right, there we go. And now let's fill out the rest of this platform with stone bricks, making sure that we get to the edges there. And then once we get out to about here, we're going to lay a row of redstone blocks so that we can have these power all of the rails along the top. So we are going to see those peeking out from the side, but we're probably going to cover the sides up with something else eventually anyway. Actually, thinking about it, we don't need to worry about that at all. We can actually fill those in because the central space here, the 9x9 square, actually doesn't go all the way out to the edge here. It actually goes to there. So yeah, no, that's no problem. All right, no worries. We'll continue with the rest of the outline here. Fill the rest of this in with stone bricks and start zigzagging our powered rail across the lines here, making sure that we curve the rail around at the ends so that we can repeat the powered rail back on itself without it connecting like that. I need to dip into my redstone box for the last 2 regular minecart rail because I didn't quite have enough with me, but this one here will just terminate on the last block on here like so. Yep, and then we can fill this up around the outside. We're going to do that with wood instead of stone brick for this next layer, and I'm doing this kind of gradient pattern starting with the dark oak, then the spruce, and then the oak, and finally the birch along the top. And we can set the hopper minecart going now that it's got the blocks to rebound from at either end. We can build up the walls of this, and the next thing we're going to be doing is placing a big grass platform where we're going to plant all the wither roses. That's going to go 1 block above the powered rails so the hopper minecart can collect all of the item entities the creepers drop. drop. And you might be tempted to go ahead and plant all of the wither roses now, first thing once you've laid in the grass floor, but that would be silly because you've got to put some trapdoors above every single grass block here, and you don't want to do that while you've got the wither effect on you, so probably a good idea to put the wall in first, put the roof in, add all of the trapdoors, and then plant the wither roses when that's the last thing you want to do before you leave the farm. The trapdoors go along the top edge of each of these blocks, making sure you complete a full roof of these. You might want to place the roof of blocks above this before you do this, just so you don't have to worry about crouching and placing these trapdoors really precisely, but it doesn't really matter what order you do this stuff in as long as you don't put the wither roses in first. At this point, yes, it is safe to dip into the shulker box and grab a bunch of these. We probably won't need 2 stacks in here. It's only a 9x9, which comes out to about 81 wither roses. In fact, I think it's exactly 81 wither roses. So just over a stack per floor here. If you're using a 9x9 design, I'm going to leave myself a little bit of space here that I can escape, like so, and we place the last wither rose on this block. I only managed to wither myself once while placing these, so that was fine. And I think trapdoors might actually let some light through, even if they are in this closed position like that, and so it's probably best to leave a bunch of blocks over the top of it to make sure all of the light is completely blocked from the spawning platform. And so that is it. There are no frills here. This is probably one of the more efficient creeper farms we will build in this series, and I think I probably need to stitch up the rest of the hopper clock so that I can make sure that all of the output is happening. I'll empty those chests over there, but I wanted to keep all of the underwater pipe infrastructure that we built last time we were here under there. So it is all coming out at the same place, which is over here by the Suspicious Stew Factory. I'm going to take out all of the gunpowder that was in here already. We still had a few stacks left over from the last time I visited. I'm going to stash all of that in a chest over there so we can see an unadulterated picture of how much we're actually getting out of this farm. I'm going to AFK for maybe half an hour, maybe while I edit the rest of this video together, and when we come back, I'm going to see exactly how much we've got from this new and improved creeper farm. Okay, I've been up here for about half an hour, maybe a touch longer, but I think it's probably time to come down and check on the results. It is dark right now, but we're in a mushroom island, so we don't have to worry too much about that. The occasional zombie or creeper. Oh, that's something I hadn't thought about. I hadn't lit up the top of that. Oh dear, that's my mistake. That's possibly why we've got a couple of skeleton bones coming through the system here and there. But yeah, anyway, let's open this up. Let's take a look at what we have. Okay, there's a stack and a little bit of string in there. Nice. Okay, so it looks like in total we have about 6 stacks of gunpowder, give or take 5.5. 5.5 stacks is not bad for about half an hour's worth of AFK time. And I think what's probably going on there as well is because we're AFKing so high up, chances are there are some creepers that are spawning in the farm and then despawning before they have a chance to die because of the distance we are from the farm and that random despawn chance they get. So if I was able to AFK maybe 23, 24 blocks away from the farm, we might actually see an increase in the gunpowder that we harvested from this. Unfortunately, there are still some caves underneath here that remain unlit. So I might end up having to use some of the techniques that I've discussed a few episodes ago in this series, just kind of branch mining in different directions to see if I can find some caves if I don't want to use my spectator account for that. And then, yeah, I do need to light up the top of this farm to make sure all of these skeletons and zombies don't spawn in over there. But all in all, that is a vast improvement to the creeper farm when we weren't even seeing creepers consistently walking off the platforms. Now we have a steady stream of gunpowder and a little bit of bonus spider string coming into this chest. I think we can call that a win. So that is going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide, folks. I hope you enjoyed this revamp of the creeper farm. We're going to be using wither roses to farm a lot of stuff in the near future, I can already tell. But for now, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will... And this is the first time I've actually come back and recorded a clip after the outro was done, and I fixed a mistake that I made that some of you have probably spotted already during the course of the video. Congratulations if you did. You win today's prize for spotting pics being silly. We had a lever above here, and at the time I was even talking about having the hoppers here separated from the redstone power source, but of course the lever itself is powering this block here that it's attached to, but it was also powering this hopper, and so we actually have a backlog of about twice the amount of gunpowder, or at least like the same amount of gunpowder a second time that was still hanging out in these hoppers behind the system. So technically speaking, we actually got closer to 10 stacks of gunpowder, which is now, as you can hear, ticking its way through the system, and I probably need to turn the powered rails back on in there to make sure that this whole thing is going to function properly. Again, I'm going to have to either put a redstone block in the floor. You know what? Yeah, I probably will do that. It was either that or put a lever over here on this side, which could work, but I think, yeah, I'll probably come around here and do that, because the redstone block in here is not going to power the hopper below it. Let me just take this out and pop that in there, and then I will need to go and add a powered rail on top of that and break in here to make sure that I can get the hopper minecart running again. And there we go. That should be corrected. We can push the minecart off on its journey once again, and hopefully no further problems should arise from that. Well, that was a silly mistake, but thankfully I caught it and we have corrected that. So now we should be getting the full output of this farm. It feels like the hopper has finished transferring all of that stuff. The dropper has stopped ticking it all through. So let's take a look at the full total for this. Oh yes, there we go, even more gunpowder. That's a joy to see. We actually have another few stacks in there and even a little bit of extra bonus string. So look at that. Yes, all right, that's the full output of this farm. Then that's about, yeah, 9 stacks worth of gunpowder. That's a lot more like it, folks. I'm very, very happy with that. We'll put the string in here. Maybe we can have that filter down into, yeah, individual slots like so if I fill those up. But that is looking great. I'm very happy that we went through and corrected that, and I feel a little bit silly that I had to add this on to the end of the video, but you know what? Worth it to make sure that we corrected that mistake and got the farm to full capacity. So once again, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.